Yes, people, Arsenal stepped up their pursuits for Joao Felix. Will the deal get done this January transfer window? Let's talk about it. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on Joao Felix to Arsenal. Would you like it to happen and why? And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe on my road to 2,000 subscribers. So Arsenal have been pursuing Joao Felix alongside Mykhaylo Mudryk this January transfer window. This Mudryk one's kind of hit like a bit of a grey area where we're not sure whether we're going to progress with a third bid yet. We're still holding out to see Shakhtar Donetsk going to bring their price down. But Joao Felix looks like it is advancing. George Mendes, the agent of Joao Felix, is talking to Atletico to see if a resolution can be made as the player wants to leave. We know Arsenal have got the financial means to make this happen, as reported by David Ornstein, a football correspondent and a well-respected one who covers a lot of Arsenal news. He said that Arsenal are one of the few clubs that can put together a competent financial package to prize Joao Felix away from Atletico Madrid. Wages are not an issue. So now it's all about whether Atletico Madrid are willing to let the player leave. We know they signed him for a huge sum of money from Benfica a few seasons ago, but the player is unhappy. He's still a big part of their squad. He starts multiple games. But if a player's not happy, do you want to keep him there? Do you want to keep him in that locker room? They don't get the best out of Joao Felix. We know Diego Simeone is a very defense-oriented coach, and he's not letting Joao Felix do what Joao Felix likes to do best, which is being a creative team that likes to play progressive, advancing football, and a team that's going to dominate ball possession. Arsenal could get the most out of Joao Felix, so we could really see him want to come to this football club. We know he dreams of playing in the Premier League just like many other players do, and to play at a team that's top of the table right now and in need of an attacker, that's a great sign and probably the most exciting prospect for Joao Felix. He's going to go to a team that's top of the Premier League table and need him. He's not just going to sit on the bench if he went to someone like Man City, for example. So, Arsenal want to get this deal done. We've made it crystal clear to their agent, and we're also in advanced talks with Atletico Madrid. What is holding their deal back? Well, first of all, whether Atletico Madrid actually want to loan him out. We know that if they do want to sell the player to Arsenal, it will demand a huge sum of money that Arsenal may not be willing to pay in January, especially for a player that is still fairly risky, and when we're pursuing someone like Mykhaylo Mudryk as well. We won't be able to splash on both players, but we do want to sign multiple attacking options. So our hope is to get Mudryk on a fee and Joao Felix on a loan. But whether Atletico Madrid want to prize away Joao Felix on only a loan deal, that is what's yet to be seen, and a package has to be given that Atletico Madrid are happy with at the end of the day. It is their talent. They want to be able to give him away, but for a fair price in their opinion. Arsenal need this player, make no mistake about it. We saw against Newcastle United in their previous game that they could not have any game changers off the bench to bring on, and ultimately they dropped points. Man City, on the other hand, brought on Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish, and them two combined to win them the game. In literally 2 games, it showed the stark contrast between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal got a great shot of this Premier League title. They're top of the table by 5 points. Other teams aren't really looking that amazing. Even Man City are not looking invincible this season. They have to take this opportunity with 2 hands. We know that clubs in the past, like Liverpool for example, have used the January transfer window effectively to sign key players like Luis Diaz. Tottenham with Kulusevski and Bentancur. Even United a few seasons back with Bruno Fernandes, helping them to get top 4. If Arsenal go on to win the Premier League in May and it comes from us signing a Joao Felix in January or a Mudryk, we could always reflect back on that, and that will be the turning point in our season, it seems. We've got lighting prospects. Now for me, I do think Joao Felix is overrated, I'm going to be honest. I never thought he was a £100 million player. But then again, I'm judging him based off an Atletico Madrid system. Atletico Madrid, obviously, their system is defense-oriented. That's how they play football. I can't really judge an attacking prospect in a defense-oriented system. They're not getting the best out of him. For Portugal, he looked good. He was starting games. He was exciting. And I think in the Premier League, he could really flourish. At the end of the day, on a 6-month loan, it's a risk worth taking for Arsenal Football Club. Because if it doesn't work, it's a 6-month loan. He might help us to win the league. He might not. Either way, we cut our losses at the end. For me, it's worth the money. Because if we go on to win the league, for example, that £8 million to £20 million that we spend on this loan deal across wages and paying the fee for the loan deal, it's worth it. We'll recoup it through winning the league and other bonuses like making the Champions League, etc. So, Joao Felix to Arsenal, how close do I think it is? To be honest, I think we're just progressing him and Mudryk at the same time. I think we're using them as leverage for each other, which I think is a good thing, because you can always go to a club, look, we really want Mudryk, but we've also got Joao Felix here. If you lot don't give us a competitive price, we can move on to someone else. So I don't know whether Arsenal want to progress both. It seems like they do. I don't know whether they're progressing both because they necessarily want both talents, or because they're using them as leverage for each other and it's just 2 options. And by progressing both, they can kind of bounce off each other. So if one doesn't give a deal they like, they can say, oh, but Atletico Madrid over here giving us a good deal for Joao Felix, or Shakhtar Donetsk over here is giving us a good deal for Mykhaylo Mudryk. Something like that I'm not too sure about, to be honest. But overall, it's a player Arsenal desperately need, and it will be a player that gets the fans excited and changes the mental kind of confidence around Arsenal externally. We know internally Arsenal got a confidence around their squad, and we all believe we can go far in this season. But there's still teams around, pundits around, that don't really have as much faith in Arsenal. Signing someone like Joao Felix is a big wake-up call. They go, hang on a minute, this is a top player that's come to Arsenal. He's come in January as well, gives them all a lift. Other clubs are thinking, oh, hang on a minute, Arsenal signed a top player here in January. They start to have a different impression on Arsenal Football Club and the things we can achieve this season, and that's always a good thing. So overall, Joao Felix to Arsenal, would you like to see it happen? Let me know in the comment section down below. I will definitely take it happening. For me, I'd love a loan option. I wouldn't necessarily want to sign the player because I'm still not sold on him being a long-term threat for Arsenal Football Club. But on a 6-month loan, it's worth the risk. A player that's played all around. He's played in La Liga. He's played in the World Cup. He's a top talent and a player that will be feared by opponents. As always, make sure you subscribe if you're new around here on my road to 2,000. I will see you all in my next video.